Well, navigating leadership challenges in EEO in a changed world, to us, really came in the definition of how we saw a changed world. And for us, it was two-pronged. It was economic, and it was the exponentially expanding virtual community. From the standpoint of the economy, what we've seen is that the duration of the economic downturn, the recession, has taken its toll on all of us. We as the consumer and society expect more from everyone, and as we expect that within the society and the virtual community, we expect that of government. So you've got that dynamic that's always playing. And we used to have a pendulum that would swing back in an economy and things would go back to where they used to be. That isn't the stage that we're living in anymore. The stage we're living in is technologically we move decades in the matter of years. And so from the standpoint of government, this shifts the paradigm of government. It shifts how they work with personnel, how personnel works with the constituent community. And from a standpoint of looking at a virtual community as a organic, continuously moving society, and we are linking to it from government and from business and from ourselves from hierarchy. So you have an inert system that's on one side, and you have a fluid moving system on the other side, and it's like anything, when you try to plug one into the other, you don't get connectivity. So that's what this event was here to do. And it was here to create in a human system the integration of a society so it will mirror, specifically mirror, the economy we're serving.
APSE was founded back in 1975, and the mission of APSE is to advocate for equal employment opportunity and also to advance the careers of its employees. One of our visions is that members are actively serving or actively serving the community. And for example, APSE has a scholarship program, and we've given probably $500,000 over the last couple decades, because that's what we do. We want to encourage people in the community and to return back to the community.
What's going on here today was actually a year in the making, and we had a steering
15
committee.
Months.
Yeah, 15 months in the making, and we had a steering committee that has guided this. But what we wanted to be able to do is to give a panoramic view of government, and all of us know that California is the state leading the economy, and what we were able to achieve today over these last 15 months is to bring together literally the leadership of our state's economy. We have 8 secretaries and undersecretaries, so we have prominently most of the governor's cabinet as it relates to the leadership. But we wanted people to see, both the attendees and the speakers themselves, to understand their independent contribution, but simultaneously the interdependent strength of a total economy. And I know that was the outcome that we achieved.
Well, again, I think it's, we have, as you pointed out, we've gotten 8 agency secretaries. I think we have perhaps 2 undersecretaries, and in comparison, I recently was organizing a conference on behalf of the governor's office, and the First Lady was attending, and we were only able to get 1 agency secretary. So I think this is an outstanding achievement.
And the backstory with all of this, with our steering committee, is we literally picked up the phone and cold called the secretaries' offices. And it really comes in communicating a story and being able to explain to them why this is different and why they need to become involved. And all of us were really excited about the preparatory types of activities that would occur with the different agency secretaries and how excited. One of them being, that comes to mind, is Commissioner Farrow, the commissioner of the CHP, in that we asked each of our speakers to give an insight or a philosophy that would guide their professional career. And he personally got so excited about that because for him, his father has guided his life. And he shared with us the ABs of leadership as came to him by his father. And to look at the legacy of that, of how it came out into the world.
One thing that this event does, which I'm really, really proud of, is that it features a panel of department directors speaking on what the best practices of equal employment opportunity are. I've been in this field for over 3 decades, and this is the very first time you have department directors speaking in terms of, I think, the best practices of EEO are, and so that's phenomenal.
Well, and I really think that that speaks to the mission of APSE. And as the only sitting Caucasian on the full Asian board, what has really impressed me about APSE is that as an oppressed society, their focus and acute attention to diversity, and they just walk their talk in the world. And so I think that your ability to pull all of those EEO directors into EEO best practices just speaks to the legacy of what APSE has given to our community.
And I think it's represented in terms of our awards, our leadership awards that we're giving. I think this is a phenomenal forum.
At the event, we had 200 attendees, and that was the maximum that the auditorium would hold. But we had 31 leaders of our state's economy. We had, what I found in the attendee base out of the 200 that really excited both Dean and I, is there were 51 unique departments participating in the day's event. And from a standpoint of feedback, you know, one of our leaders came to us afterwards, and she felt that it was really unprecedented, the ability to pull together this magnitude of leadership into the context of one forum. And I just think it was the collective energy of our steering committee, of those present, that actually was able to propel it to that level and type of outcome that we achieved.
And one of the comments also was that the participants were amazed, as you said earlier, that we had 10 of the 13 agency secretaries represented, that the secretaries themselves came, so people had never seen that before. Even our constitutional officer said, gee, I don't know that I could have drawn that number.
You know, even to the extent of the, you know, giving the awardees our awards in leadership, of the Individual Leadership Award to Howard Schwartz, or the Agency Award to the Inspector General, or the EEO Heroes Awards to Dave Jones, the Commissioner of Insurance, or the giving EDD, and Pam Harris, the EEO Agency Award. We had Marty Morgenstern come to us and represent the governor's office, and you could just see the love for this person, the respect for this person was palpable. That he had served in the governor's first administration, here he was serving in this administration.
And to hear the recipient in terms of Howard Schwartz saying, not only have you made my day, made my month, but you've made my year.
Yeah.
So there was real sincere appreciation in terms of being recognized.
Yeah, I think in this economy we've all been so impacted that it's created a stressful environment for all of us. And that human touch that looks out and recognizes the contribution you've made to society and what you have given happens all too infrequently. And I think the value of these awards were demonstrated in the hearts and minds of the recipients that received them. If you were to look at this event and create it from the perspective that it happens at one point in time, then again, I don't think we served the mission of our original purpose.
The Asian Pacific State Employees Association has entered into a memorandum of understanding with the University of Southern California. And so we look forward during the next couple years to really implementing that, and toward that effect, As we know, we're starting to plan a series of workshops in the very near future.
Yeah, we actually plan to offer a large event every few years, and then independently what we're doing is taking the Navigating Leadership brand and we're carrying it forward. So we're fortunate to have much of the leadership enthusiastic that presented at this event come in and teach workshops in an ongoing manner to government and the public community. Whole systems is really not jargon. It's a way of describing or creating a mirror that actually reflects on social communities and virtual communities. As an example, the graphic that we put up for all of our attendees is we look at the hierarchical world that we live in. And hierarchy is not just government, it's private enterprise, and there's a lot of hierarchy in how we govern our own lives, of segmenting our lives rather than seeing life holistically and beyond that. But then when we look out to our virtual community, we see an organic whole system. And by that, it's moving and changing 24/7. And so what you're doing is you're looking at a hierarchy that's inert and inflexible and operating from a chain of command, and you're trying to plug it into a fluid and agile marketplace. And I think that's why we're not getting the connectivity. So to intricately put together this event, what we did is we paralleled it to a wheel where the hub was the goal and the spokes were the resources that connected to the hub to produce the goal and achieve the outcome. And so we had the New Paradigms Roundtable where the hub was tools that would guide people in thriving in a changed world. Or if you look at the Secretaries Roundtable, the goal was to look at the challenge that your agency has faced, but from the perspective of opportunity it created. And then in the EEO best practices, the hub of that wheel were the EEO best practices with the interdependent strengths of the contributing speakers to that. And so what you were able to see was not only the independent value that each agency created to the whole of our state's economy, but the interdependent panoramic strength of what occurs when you see the whole of who we are as a society or as an economic system. And I think that was the thing, Dean, that was so surprising to everyone, our speakers as well as our attendees alike, is the ability to have even our secretaries don't have the capacity to communicate in this type of forum with each other. But to look at from a perspective of challenge, what is the opportunity that is going to be the threshold in rebuilding California? And I think that that's what was revealed again and again and again from the voices of our speakers. There's always a guiding force that is present in any event, and I think that we were really excited to see the composite of leaders that came forward to actually guide the flow of information and interaction throughout the day. We were fortunate to have Sylvie Stanislaus come to us as the executive officer of the Franchise Tax Board, and of Maylee Tom, who is president of the State Personnel Board, of John Chung, who shared with us at lunch, of Ann Boynton, who shared with us from CalPERS, of Marty Morgenstern, of Clark Kelso, who led the Paradigms panel. In each one of them, there was this introspection that allowed them to reach in and pull from them what has guided them, and then based upon the energy and the momentum and the interconnectivity as the day went forward, they gave really profound, insightful value.
And as you pointed out, in terms of what happened to May Tom, in terms of leading a panel of 10 agency secretaries on that. And so I think it's really quite amazing in terms of we were able to get that type of number of secretaries.
Yeah, and with May, when you reach that place of professional stature, you reach a point of truly wanting to give back and of having the wisdom and the lessons learned on leadership. And so even in planning, she said, I don't simply want to moderate. I want to share my perspectives on leadership. And we were fortunate that that was the gift she gave.
Yes.
I think what this event was not the context of this 8 hours that we spent together, but more importantly, it was a threshold.
And I'm looking forward, now that we have the MOU signed between APSI and USC, that we are going to be engaging in a series of workshops in terms of continuing this brand of leadership.
And so this is a conversation that began on November 8th, 2012, but it is a conversation and focused on leadership that will continue, that we hope, for an untold number of years.
Bigger things are coming.